It's actually very easy to get your ex-boyfriend to want you back after a breakup. You don't have to beg, and you don't have to plead. The little-known trick all comes down to male psychology. The trick is to push his emotional hot buttons, triggers that are specific to only men. He'll literally come crawling back like a little puppy dog, begging for another chance. If you had that kind of power over your man, how sweet would that feel? This presentation will reveal to you secrets most women will never know about men. What exactly goes on inside a man's mind? How to push his emotional buttons so he comes crawling back to you. And specifically how to make him commit to you after you get him back. I'll start with a simple story that may sound familiar to you. I call it Beth's breakup. Beth hardly slept since her breakup 3 weeks ago. That empty feeling of nothing beside her kept Beth from falling asleep at night. And when she woke up in the morning, the sudden realization that he was gone came flooding over her. Every morning the same thing. She really felt this guy was the one. It was torture. In desperation, she finally came to me. I could tell she'd been crying but was covering it up, so with a grin on my face, I looked my friend straight in the eye and said, "Relax. I know exactly how you can get him back." You see, Beth came to me because of my unique expertise when it came to breakups. Me being a relationship coach for the better part of 7 years, I knew exactly what buttons she could press that would drive her boyfriend crazy. Triggers specific to men that would make her ex-boyfriend come back to her, on his knees, begging for her to take him back. Beth relaxed a bit after hearing my reassuring words and told me she could sense something was wrong for the past few weeks leading up to the breakup, but she didn't do anything about it. She could literally feel him slipping away from her. Little by little, he drifted further and further away, giving her less and less attention. She had no idea what to do. He stopped calling her as much. He stopped looking at her in the same way. He started openly flirting with other women. He no longer gave Beth the attention he did when they first started dating. This all went on for about 2 months, driving poor Beth crazy wondering why. And then, seemingly out of nowhere, he drops those 4 little words that made Beth's heart do somersaults. "We need to talk." When they went out for coffee, Beth was pretty nervous. She could sense what was coming. She knew they were having problems, but she never guessed it would come to this. And as he made small talk, Beth's heart continued to race. She tried her best to hold herself together, but it was no use. He kept saying things like, "I just need time apart. I need space. It's not you, it's me. Things just aren't the same anymore. We can still be friends." He even went on to blame Beth for the problems in the relationship, as if it was somehow all her fault. And after that, the rest is history. You already know how it ends because it literally just happened to you. And just like my friend Beth, you're going to need my help. So continue watching for my clever little solution. We'll get to that in just a sec. What if I told you you could easily take the pain of rejection that you're feeling right now and transfer it onto your ex-boyfriend? How quickly do you think he would come crawling back to you if he was the one feeling the kind of pain you are right now? Here's a simple truth. The main reason you want your ex-boyfriend back so badly is because he rejected you. It's human nature to want what you can't have, especially if you had that something and it was suddenly taken away from you. The solution is to completely reverse the rejection you're feeling right now. The solution I gave Beth and thousands before her were a few psychological tricks to push her ex's emotional hot buttons. Specific things she could say and do to make him feel like he was the one being rejected. Aha! All of a sudden, Beth's boyfriend began calling her to hang out. He actually started to behave the exact way he did at the very beginning of their relationship. You remember how things were at the beginning of your relationship, right? Back when he was chasing you? The good news is that men all behave in a very similar and predictable manner. And being a woman, I'm sure you probably already know that. By taking advantage of very specific male psychological hot buttons, you can gain an almost unfair advantage and cause your ex-boyfriend to want and desire you like never before. It's actually not even that hard if you know what specific emotional buttons to push. This is why trying to reason, use logic, argue, and saying I love you simply don't work, as I'm sure you've already figured out for yourself by now. In fact, it will only further push him away and trigger his push her away response. You see, the brain is divided into two sections, the left hemisphere and the right hemisphere. Right now, you're too focused on speaking to his left brain, the part responsible for logic and reason, when you should be speaking to his right brain, the part responsible for love and feeling. Attraction and love are not logical. Just as you don't choose what type of man you're attracted to, he doesn't choose what type of woman he'll end up committing to. Push too many of the wrong buttons while in a relationship and he'll start getting scared and push you away. Push the right buttons and he'll lust for you, chase after you, and commit to you. This actually goes all the way back to our hunter-gatherer, caveman, and cavewoman days. Men are literally genetically wired to respond to certain triggers or emotional hot buttons, as I like to call them. Okay, now I'm going to show you 3 keys to bypass his left thinking brain and cut directly to his right feeling brain. Key number 1 is reversing rejection. Right now, you're the one feeling rejected. But if you could make him feel the way you're feeling right now, he'll start pursuing you again. Just like he did when you first started dating. This is how you start fresh and recreate that excitement you both felt at the beginning. Key number 2 is understanding relationship patterns. Fail to understand the patterns you find yourself in, and you're destined to repeat it over and over again. Only once you short-circuit the negative relationship pattern you both find yourself in can a healthy, loving, and committed relationship begin to form. Key number 3 is making him commit. Remember, getting him back is not even half the battle. It's the easy part. If you can't get him to put that ring on your finger, what use is getting him back? You need to make a man feel a certain way before he'll begin to open up and let himself commit to one woman. Knowing exactly how to take him through these feelings is absolutely crucial. Way back in 2004, while I was studying psychology, I stumbled across an old scientific study. What I read shocked me, and it made a lot of sense. I don't want to get too technical, so I'll sum it up nice and easy for you. A bunch of people were hooked up to this thing called a functional magnetic resonance imaging scanner, or fMRI for short. Basically, an fMRI is a fancy machine that looks at what's going on inside your brain. The participants in this study were shown pictures of their ex and told to count backwards. Then they were shown pictures of a stranger and again told to count backwards. What they found was the areas of the brain responsible for the pain of romantic rejection were also responsible for reward, motivation, physical pain, craving, and addiction. Close your eyes for a second and picture your ex-boyfriend as vividly as you can. The same part of your brain responsible for cocaine addiction and cigarette cravings is lighting up like crazy right now. So what does this have to do with getting your ex back? Plenty. First of all, that study set me on a journey to understand the powerful psychology behind breakups and relationships. It became sort of a hobby and passion of mine. I spent hundreds of hours researching the dynamics between men and women. After that, I spent even more time doing personal one-on-one coaching sessions. All the while, I was taking notes and developing a step-by-step system that would shut off the addiction you're feeling right now and then reveal an easy-to-follow path back to your boyfriend's heart. The system I created addresses a vast number of situations and tells you exactly what to say and do in order to get him crawling back to you. It is designed in such a way that he'll come begging for you to take him back and not the other way around. In 4 months, laying out a solid, practical blueprint so you would no longer have to guess at what to do and say. Here are just a few of the things you'll discover. The number one reason why everything you've tried has failed to get your ex-boyfriend back. The most overlooked concept every woman needs to know about relationships and how it's directly responsible for your breakup. Why the no contact rule isn't for everyone and how it can actually backfire on you. The one theory that definitively explains why men only want what they can't have and how you can use it to get your ex-boyfriend back. Exactly how to get him addicted to you so he'll show you the affection he once did when you first started dating, and so much more. With the Get Him Back Forever system, I also teach you how to make him head over heels in love with you again. The easy part is actually getting him back. The more challenging part is making him commit and love you like he once did. All of which I teach you how to easily accomplish. When you get your boyfriend back, don't you want to know he will always love you, no matter what? Don't you want to know beyond a shadow of a doubt that he'll be committed to you and only you? I reveal all of these dirty little secrets in the Get Him Back Forever system. Nothing like this has ever been written about to this extent before, ever. Anna H. from California writes, I was searching the internet for a way of possibly getting back with my ex-boyfriend. I ended up stumbling across your website and said, what the heck, and decided to buy it. I was skeptical and figured it was just a bunch of BS and I'd ask for a refund. I started the blank, and when he called me a few days later, I was a bit shocked. I pushed his emotional hot buttons and watched him squirm. I told him I wanted to take things slow and he agreed. I even used some of the training techniques you wrote about. It's good to see things are returning back to normal again. Tamara C. from Canada writes, this is my story, Matt, and I agree to let you post it to your site as long as you don't use my full name. Thanks. Okay, so I immediately initiated blank and left it like that for 2 weeks. During that 2-week period, I followed your system, using the methods and techniques you talked about, and eventually he did initiate contact with me. He was pretty flirty right off the bat, and so I knew I could have him back if I wanted. I played with him for a few weeks and made him work to get me back. Thanks for the very interesting book. I look forward to using the training techniques you talked about. Loved it. Cynthia B. recently wrote to me and said, my success story goes something like this. I was searching on Google for a way to get my boyfriend back. I know it sounds a bit pathetic. But anyway, I came across your site and decided to get the course. What the heck did I have to lose, really? The methods and techniques you talk about work very well, especially the information on training your man to become more of how you want him to be. For me, it wasn't really that hard to get him back. I was just worried things would go back to the way they were. I wanted to feel special again, something I didn't feel in a long time. It really felt good to have that spark of attraction back once again. It's exciting. Thanks for the great read, and I'll be recommending your site to my friends. When it comes to breakups, time is your biggest enemy. You need to act fast. It's been proven that the longer you wait and the more time that passes, the harder it is to get an ex back. He'll eventually find another woman and fall in love. It's only a matter of time. This is why the sooner you take action after a breakup, the greater your chances of success will be. I want you to get back what's rightfully yours. His heart doesn't belong to some other woman. It belongs to you. You have the opportunity to jump through the window and prevent it from closing. I'm giving you a step-by-step system that uses advanced male psychology to take advantage of your ex-boyfriend's predictable behavior. And I'll not only show you how to get him back, but how to make him commit to you as well. Imagine for a minute having your boyfriend back in your arms, where he belongs. Feel his strong arms embracing you. Have the security in knowing he loves you deeply. Feel his sweet kiss on your lips one more time. Let him hold you in his arms and don't let him let you go. Soon that'll be a reality. What's the first thing you'll do when you get back together with your boyfriend? I want you to make a mental list right this second of all the fun things you'll soon be doing. Will you take a trip to the beach? Go shopping? Gaze into each other's eyes all night? Or maybe just sit at home watching a movie while cuddling on the couch? It can and will be a reality sooner than you think. I want you to really picture it in your mind because now you know that getting your boyfriend back is more than a mere possibility. It's indeed very probable. Now you know there are powerful techniques, methods, and strategies for getting him back. It's time for you to get excited.